Hello and welcome to the program. Rich and Laurie are originally from Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. They relocated to South Florida in 2010, and they have been active in the area, enjoying a climate that allows for more pleasurable year-round recreation and activities. Let's see and/or hear what Rich and Laurie in South Florida have to share with us about where to go and what to do.
Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the Rich and Laurie in South Florida podcast and YouTube channel. I'm Rich, by name only.
I must be Laurie.
And together again, this is episode 6. You've probably seen episode 1 to 5. If you haven't, we'd welcome you to go back and look at it, because the difference between this episode and those previous 5 is the fact that this one is going to be devoted to just one subject. Instead of mixing a bunch of subjects together, this one is going to be devoted to our tour yesterday on the, what's the name of this river?
Caloosahatchee.
Caloosahatchee River. I've had a hard time saying Caloosahatchee since we've been here, but we're getting used to it now. Anyway, yesterday we took a tour by, who did that? What was the name of that company? Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, we want to make sure that you share and subscribe to our channel. And if you share this video with your friends, and if we get 200 likes, I get a free dinner.
No wonder she remembered that. Anyway, yeah, if you subscribe to this, you'll get automatic notifications of our episodes. And as Laurie said, we're trying to beat the viewing count of our last one. So if we get 200, it's going to cost me a dinner, but it'll be worthwhile. I'll never hear the end of it. Anyway, what's the name of that tour we went on yesterday?
It's JC Cruises. It's their lunch tour. It was 4 hours long.
And it was on board their boat. Looks like an old Louisiana river boat. Pretty cool looking. Had 3 floors on it. Some great food. We'll tell you all about the details of that boat in a few minutes. But you found it where? Online?
Yeah, I just did we've been wanting to explore the Caloosahatchee River. As you know, we're kayakers, and I wanted to see from the point of view of the river, what was the river like? How wide is it? Is it kayakable along the shore? So we found this cruise, and it was perfect.
Yeah, as many of you know, I'm from Chicago. In fact, we're both from the Chicago area, and the only river I knew in my lifetime was the Chicago River, and to me that was a relatively short river that I know of, from downtown Chicago and emptied out into Lake Michigan. It was all fresh water. You could see across it. It wasn't very wide. In comparison to the Caloosahatchee River, this river is functional. You'll see it behind us. Here's a description. The Caloosahatchee River is on the southwest Gulf Coast of Florida. It's 67 miles long. I was amazed to see how long this river is. And it drains rural areas of the northern edge of the Everglades, east of Fort Myers. So if you look at it on the map, you can see where it's at, how long it is. And I don't know, it was really an experience for me to be out on this river yesterday. We had a great time. Yeah,
it was cool. One of the things that we learned yesterday on the trip is that from the point where the Caloosahatchee River dumps into the Gulf, from there to the first locks is more salt water, and on the other side of these Franklin locks is more fresh water. And of course, when they open the locks, it's inevitable that some fresh and some salt water mix, and then that's what's called brackish water. But on the saltwater side, we actually saw dolphin.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to film this video adjacent to the locks that Laurie just mentioned, the Franklin locks. You might see a couple of boats going back and forth here. These are fishing boats, just recreational fishing. There's no commercial fishing here. But the locks Laurie mentioned are just a little bit in front of us and to our left. I was amazed to hear mechanically that when the boat is in the locks and the back locks are open to let water into the locks, it causes turbulence in the locks and it kind of shakes the boats around. But when the front gates open, it lets the water out and there is no turbulence inside the lock. So it's a lot easier to get out of the locks than it is to get in. So it's kind of interesting. I
had no idea.
Yeah, amazing what you learn on the Caloosahatchee River.
Yeah, they had a nice narration on the boat where every time there was something of a subject of interest, the loudspeaker came over all 3 floors and told everybody what it was like. So how did our trip start off? I mean, we had like 12 people from our neighborhood at Cascades.
Yeah, we just casually invited 12 people, 6 other couples, a couple singles, and we just told them to meet us at the boat, which they did. And we started, I guess from the website, they mentioned a convenient parking lot. We parked in the lot, $5. and then walked maybe a block and a half to the boat. We showed gave them our name, they gave us our reservation ticket, and we just walked on board, and that was it.
Yeah, the boat has 3 floors, so when you walk up the ramp on the first one, like you could get to that first level with no stairs, and then there are 2 other levels. Well, 2 of them are air conditioning, right?
Yeah, 2 of them were air conditioned. One was on the top floor. You could walk all around the boat on the top floor. We kind of like that. You're out in the open air. There's a sun deck if you want to. It's a wooden sun deck built over the top. It's pretty interesting. Being the mechanical person I am, I looked over the back of the boat and saw this huge paddle wheel. We learned that that's not functional at all. It's just decorative, and it churns the water up to look like an actual paddle wheel riverboat. The boat we were on was actually powered by diesel engines, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it really wasn't that loud either. I thought the boat would be louder, but you could actually carry on a conversation. We spent quite a bit of time on the 3rd floor, and there was some shady areas, but it was really nice just to look out and see. It seems like the north side, wow, there's a big fish swimming right here.
Yeah, gee, again, we're right next to the locks, and there's fish right in this water.
The north side of the Caloosahatchee seems to be still a little bit more rural and slightly less developed. The south side of it seemed to have more development and beautiful, beautiful houses.
Some of the homes were gorgeous with infinity swimming pools and huge hot tubs and concrete patio blocked areas for entertainment. It was just, some of them were just gorgeous.
Yeah, there was one place that had a banquet or wedding facility that was all set up for a wedding, so you could have your backdrop of the Caloosahatchee River for your wedding, and it had housing and dining area for a small group. Looked like it would take about 100 people, but it was a beautiful day, and the sun shined almost the whole time until we returned.
Yeah, then it rained. We actually got off the boat. It was pouring. We had to go under this this wooden structure to stay dry. And then we did stay dry and walked to the car. Excuse me if I got distracted. I'm looking over here over the top of the camera at a launch area where people back their boats down into the water in their trailers, and then they put their trucks back up in the parking lot, and this one person just put a boat in the water with no lines on it, and it started floating away, and the other person ran in. I think they had their shoes and socks and pants on. They just ran in to get their boat.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's not the boat you're going to see passing us in just a minute. This is another group of people just out on the river fishing casually, but this other boat was a come. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Some of the things we saw along the river cruise was some man-made islands. They're called spoil islands. So when the river is trenched out or was made deeper, they piled that up, and then that provides a great place for birds. And one of the things we learned is that when the water is even at low tide, I guess, it's still high enough so that something can't crawl on that island. So the birds are safe, because things that would crawl, like, I don't know, would be mice, rats, or whatever, don't survive, and the birds are safe in the rookery. And yesterday we learned too that if there are a lot of birds in the rookery during the day, or we also saw pelicans more inland, he said that's an indication that bad weather was coming, and he was right.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, he did predict that.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Better than the weathermen here. This is just a captain of a riverboat, and he's better at predicting weather than the weather.
Check the birds.
Yeah, check the birds. Watch the animals.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is great. Hey, listen, that was interesting yesterday on that boat. And by the way, we're not being paid by this company, this boat company. We just had a good time, and we're trying to share that with you in case you want to do it. But there were a couple people celebrating on the boat yesterday. There was a couple that were celebrating their 50-year anniversary, and there was a lady on board that we saw celebrating her 100th birthday.
Yeah, we said, boy, she looks great for even 80.
Yeah, and it dawned on me this morning, today being D-Day, the anniversary of Normandy 77 years ago, this lady was born the day before the Normandy invasion.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
No. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Let's talk about the food for a minute. Can I talk about the chicken?
Sure.
They had a great meal. The chicken was outstanding. Typical chicken buffet with vegetables and sides, but it's the first time I've ever been to a buffet or a meal where one of the wait staff came out and told us that the chicken was made with a seasoning that we used to get down in the Everglades called Everglades seasoning. That's the only thing they used on this chicken, and they baked it for an hour, at 350 degrees. So they actually gave us the recipe of the chicken everybody was raving about.
Yeah,
I thought was cool.
There was plenty of food too.
What did you say about that pudding you had?
Yeah, I'm one of those freaky people who loves canned pudding, and it's the kind of pudding that you buy in institutional cans. So I had 2 servings of chocolate and vanilla and combined them. But that was pretty much the dessert. So if you're looking for a big dessert, don't count on dessert there, but I'd highly recommend you just go to one of the other restaurants downtown Fort Myers near the ship and get dessert, or go get a margarita or something. But yeah, the food was really very sufficient and good and well prepared. It was serve yourself buffet, and they controlled the lines quite well. We were talking about the 3 levels, and I think if you're with a reserved party, you're going to be on the first level where the food is.
Yeah, if you reserve the boat. I don't think it was half full. It's probably half empty. More of an optimist. But they had line dancing. They were dancing. They had live music. They had a singer singing along with background music, kind of like karaoke, but it was only one singer. It was pretty good.
Yeah, the line dancing was pretty interesting. This was on the way back, so on the way out they did a lot of narrations and told us what to look for and showed us, we got to talk about the trussels, showed us all of those things, and on the way back they went a little bit faster and had the line dancing and tried to get people dancing in the streets or dancing in the aisles. But yeah, the first trestle we came to was a rail trestle, right?
Yeah, what caught my eye before the captain mentioned it is the bridge over this trestle was up, and it was in the raised position, and then the captain came on the microphone and said that the bridge is normally left up because there's only 2 trains a day. Is that what he told us? So it's easier to leave the bridge up and bring it down for the 2 trains than it is to leave it down and bring it up for any of the boats that go by. So that was pretty interesting. Old train tracks. We've never seen them from the road. I don't think we've seen them from the road.
I've never seen a train anywhere around here. No. I didn't know there were trains.
I haven't either.
Take that back. There's that Fort Myers mystery dinner.
Murder mystery train.
Yeah,
that's pretty
which we're going to do soon. But yeah, and then there was a lift bridge that we went under.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's the bridge that we've gone over the road over this bridge a lot of times, but this is the first time we've been on the water and came to it, and it too was raised. The captain simply gets on the microphone and calls the bridge tender, and the tender tells the captain, okay, we're going to raise the bridge in 7 minutes. So the captain just slows the boat down and kind of hovers out there until 7 minutes are up, and when the bridge goes up, we went under it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they said too, to go through the locks, you don't have to pay. So if you're a boater that's going up and down, there's like no toll or anything.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. And we learned about channel markers. It's interesting. I'm a ex-boataholic, but I never knew the details of these channel markers. You've all seen them. They're red and green, and you have to stay between them because it marks out the channels that are dug deep enough for the boats to go through. If you go outside the channel markers, you typically hit the bottom, so you want to stay between the markers. Red on the right generally, green on the left. Red is a triangle, the green is a square. Has numbers on them that locate those actual markers anywhere on a paper map. So the captains use those as a guide to get across the waterways in continental United States. And they were electronic. He talked about the electronics and joked that today, although there might be a lot of electronics associated with those markers, it's good to have a paper map with you, because if you ever lose your electricity, you're going to be screwed when it comes to navigation.
Yeah, if you're there's another ant. If your battery dies.
That's my uncle.
That's your uncle?
Yeah, my aunt's on the other side.
Out in nature, you just never know what's going to crawl on you.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm waiting for another boat to come by so you guys could see it. In fact, that boat is still sitting over there where the people had to run out in the water to get it. They're probably drying off in the car.
We saw several boats on the water yesterday. We did see one pontoon that was way overfilled with people.
Yeah.
It had probably 14 people on that boat.
That thing had danger written all over it. Oh, excuse me, you might hear some wave runners in just a second. We saw a lot of those yesterday on the water, and there's a couple here that were just put in the water, and I think they're going to come by. You'll see them go past us in our back. But I think you can see the entrance to the locks behind us. As I mentioned, we're adjacent to the Franklin locks that we went through yesterday. We're right on that same waterway, but we're on the land side this time instead of the water side.
Yeah, there wasn't as much boat traffic as I thought there would be, but we probably saw a boat every 4 or 5 minutes. They'd go past us or go around us, and some of them would try to ride our wake. We did see a dolphin.
Yeah, dolphins. We didn't see a manatee, although there's a lot of manatee in this water. They just weren't here and around yesterday for us to see.
Yeah, and there was no blue-green algae, so there's nothing wrong with being down here by the river. It's nice and clear today.
Yeah, except for a couple of ants.
Oh,
And Uncle.
What about those crab pods?
Crab pods.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. You tell us about them.
Okay, well, we saw this boat, and I thought at first that he was fishing for bait fish with a net because he kept spinning in circles.
Was a net out here? I didn't see her.
He would drive around in circles, but what he was doing is he was pulling up next to his crab pods, and then he would grab the rope out of the buoy out of the water and hook it to his boat, and then being able to hoist the crab pod onto his boat and then take the crabs out of there and then throw it back in the water.
Seems to be a joke associated with that somewhere, but I don't think I'll get into that.
You don't want to get crabs?
No, we're going to hear this. We're going to hear this wave runner come by. In fact, there's two of them, and one of them's got a little. Look at that little baby on that thing.
Yeah, teaching them young.
With a little baseball hat on. It looks like a mom and dad's got a little baby. I hope you can see this. They're going to come by in just a second. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Oh, the little
Hey,
kids
little
waving
guy.
too.
I'm sorry.
Such a great area, this area. Caloosahatchee, Alva, Olga.
Yeah, what's the name of this park? It's the Olga Park, isn't it? Or
No, this is a Caloosahatchee Regional Recreation Area, and there are tons of picnic places in here.
I'm glad you took on the responsibility of saying Caloosahatchee for this whole thing, because I'd have trouble with that.
So
Right,
on the way
what
out,
did we miss?
on the way out they do the narration, and they serve you lunch as soon as you leave the dock. So you leave the dock at about 11:30, and 11:45 the buffet is out, and then they do the narrations, and then the total tour is 4 hours, but probably the first 3 is the slow ride to the locks, and then when we got to the locks, we went through, but then we encountered a barge that was coming the other way.
Yeah, that barge had to be maneuvered through those locks. Barges aren't attached to their tow or tugboats. They just push them around.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So that thing was sitting out there in the water, and our boat went through the locks, did a quick 360, and came back through the locks so that guy could push that barge through it.
Yeah, he said if we had to wait for the barge, it would have been an hour and a half later. So I'm glad that we came back in, and then when we got back, it was just pouring rain.
Yeah. I was just thinking, if you hit that subscribe button as we asked you to do before, you'll get notice of these things all the time. And also in the comments section, let us know what you think about us doing these one subject videos rather than a combination of subjects. If you go back and look at episodes 1 through 5, you'll see that we combined a whole bunch of things in them. This one is devoted strictly to that tour we took yesterday.
Yep.
So let us know what you like, whether you want us to do one subject videos, which there will be more of, so we don't have to accumulate the subjects.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, I think Rich pointed out, the riverboat has not paid us. We paid to do the tour, and
Yeah.
if you have a space that you want us to come and do a broadcast about, we'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings me to our sponsor. Let me
Yes.
mention our sponsor for not only this episode, but our entire podcast and our YouTube channels. It's Halo Genealogy Services. We'll put the number down below. I'll tell you, I knew nothing about my ancestry, or very little, until I contacted Halo. And you can do the same. Call Tamara Halo at Halo Genealogy Services and ask her to get started researching your ancestry. She found things out about my family and my dad and my grandfather and my grandmother that I knew nothing about, and it was so interesting. And as you mentioned, she's not very pushy. She's a great person to work with. If you're interested in your ancestry, give her a try.
Yeah, she also has a self-paced online course that teaches you how to research your own ancestry. So if it's something that you like to do and you want to up your skills, maybe you want to do research on your own for your own family, she's great to talk to. She's no pressure. You can pick her brain, say what's the best way to accomplish your goal, and she'll help you out.
Yeah, she got as excited about finding out about my ancestry as I did.
That was funny.
Yeah, when she found out things about my grandmother. And by the way, if we kind of drag our feet here for just a minute, here comes the boat where the guy ran out in the water with his shoes and socks on. I just noticed that he's now in shorts and probably flip-flops. So he changed pretty quickly after he had to go out and retrieve his boat that was floating away.
Looks like they're going out fishing.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to wave at them in a few minutes. Quite popular here for fishing.
Yeah.
It's a great entrance to the ocean. I don't know how far it is from here, but it's accessible, I'm sure, with a with one tank of gas. Hey, good morning.
The distance from
drier.
here to the ocean is where we went yesterday.
That's
'Cause-
right. We weren't too far.
Yeah, we're going from here to Fort Myers is the Gulf. And if you want to go to the other side,
Right.
you have to go all the way to Port St. Lucie, which this does go all the way to Port St. Lucie through Lake Okeechobee.
That would be a great boat ride.
Did we forget anything except for the
Let's
rain?
see. No, I have my little agenda in front of me here. We talked
Oh yeah,
about
the line dancing.
line dancing on the boat. That was
Yeah.
one of the things in addition to the food and
Yeah,
the music.
on the way back, the 3 staff people led everybody in line dancing, and they were trying
the
to
wind
get
is going to
everybody.
blow our camera over. Well, what do you think? That's the first time that ever happened.
Wow, that
little-
wind came through,
A little gust of wind came in and blew the camera over.
and my hat.
Yeah, and your hat off. Well, anyway, we were just about done anyway, so we wanted to come back and just let you know we were okay after the camera crashed. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. Look forward to episode 7. Be sure to subscribe to this video, and until next time, what do you say?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. See you later.
Thank you for watching and/or listening to Rich and Laurie in South Florida. We hope you have enjoyed the program and that you will come back for the next episode to learn more about where to go and what to do when your travels bring you to tropical South Florida. If you would like to sponsor this program and get special attention on your place of business, you can contact Rich and Laurie in South Florida at 630-642-6500. That's 630-642-6500.